There are many great mods for the Subaru WRX, but there's one mod in particular that is absolutely necessary when modifying your Subaru, and that is the Cobb Accessport. In today's video, we're going to go over all the features I think are most important, why it is absolutely necessary for you to have one, and even if you do have one, hopefully in today's video I can show you some features that you didn't know even existed on the Acesssport and let you use the full potential of the Acesssport, and also a couple stories in which case the Acesssport literally saved my engine from fully exploding. We'll get into that later. So for those of you guys that are not familiar with the Acesssport, it's very simple and how to set up. It simply plugs into the OBD2. For this generation, you might need to connect something called the green connectors, but the Acesssport, when you set it up, super easy, very step-by-step. It literally will tell you right off the bat. So you plug it into your OBD2, you keep it plugged in if you want to read the live data that it gives you, but once you flash any desired map that you have loaded on the Acesssport, you don't need it always plugged in. That's how it's set up, but now let's get into some features. So we'll go ahead and get this thing all started up so we can get some live readouts. Now here is what I currently have running on my Acesssport. So number one, you can see in the upper left, obviously air-fuel ratio. This is actually my boost/vacuum, coolant temp, battery voltage, and this is fuel pressure diff compensation, and then fuel pressure final. And the reason why I currently have these ones set up is I thought I was having some sort of alternator issue. So what's cool is you can have a live readout of what the battery voltage is. So this isn't normally there, but I had it just to diagnose this issue that I thought I was having. And as far as the fuel pressure, what's actually very interesting is the FP diff comp and also fuel pressure final is what actually helped me find out my problem with my fuel related issue. Now, I actually change my live readouts pretty frequently depending on if I'm having a certain issue with my car, which is probably my most favorite feature that this thing has. It can literally be a tool for you guys to learn because it's very simple to look up things just on Google, do a quick search, and you can look up what the known good values should be as far as fuel pressure, good coolant temp range, what should find knock learn be, what should damn be, all of those. Very simple search that you can look up through all the forums and people will gladly tell you what those numbers should be. Or of course, you can always send data logs to your tuner, which we will get to a little bit later. Now, like I said, I changed it to battery voltage, but obviously it's not normally on there. So a pretty popular one is having your DAM set up, which I could show you guys that right now. And what DAM is Dynamic Advance Multiplier, and that should be no more than 1, typically for Subarus. Cobb says it should be about 0.6 to no more than 1. So I'll go ahead and show you how you actually change that right now. So if we want to change the monitor, what we can go ahead and do is you could highlight the one that you want to change. You can click on that, and then all you have to do is put change monitor. And now we can go ahead and change it to DAM, which is a pretty popular one for Subarus. So that's going to be right Dynamic Advance Multiplier right there. Go ahead and click that, and you can see mine's currently 1. Obviously, you could drive around and see if it's going to change, but 1 is normally good. Another pretty popular one for Subarus is feedback knock and find knock learn. And those guys should be close to 0 at all time. Of course, you don't want knock. And what knock is normally related to is maybe even some bad fuel. You'll get a little bit of knock. And if you're going to get your car professionally tuned, what's really cool is you can load on a data log preference. We'll pretty much call it that. So your tuner can set up what he wants to see on the data log, send you the file, you can load it on to your Acesssport, and then he could see exactly what he wants, or you can customize your own data log and what you want to see. So if you're having a particular problem, like you get a code for like a camshaft position sensor or a crank sensor, or something to do with ignition or anything like that, you can literally set up a full data log on what you guys want to data log with the issue that you're having with your car. And I have found out so many problems that randomly popped up with my car just by simply data logging. And of course, if you're not as nerdy as me, you don't want to do it yourself, you can always get the data log and send it over just via email and have them deal with that. But data logging is a feature that is seriously slept on. It is a great tool to learn as well because you could seriously diagnose everything. It is absolutely crazy. All the things you can data log, other things you can learn from that data log. I know in the beginning it's just gonna look like a bunch of numbers, but over time getting familiar with data logging, knowing what those numbers should be, I'm telling you, if it's worth putting in the research, looking everything up, what they should be, and you can literally diagnose almost any issue with your car that you're having. Now, how do you start data logging? It's crazy simple. You can see my car is on right now, right? All you do is press the middle button and you'll see here, boom. Now I'm data logging. That's literally it. You can see that there. That means it's data logging. When I want to stop data logging, you press the button again and the data log is saved. Now all you need to do is plug in the Acesssport to your computer. Obviously have the Cobb Access tuner all set up on your computer. And then you load up those data logs. It's very simple. Cobb makes it very easy, step by step, and how to set all of that up. Probably the most popular one is launch control / two-step. So I'll go ahead and show you real quick. You want to go to tune, and then you want to go to adjustments. Then you got a bunch of cool adjustments you could do. Flat foot shifting, you can adjust timing. Don't mess with any of those, not recommended, at least for me. Flat foot shifting is fine, but I mean, unless you want to blow up your car. But either way, this is how you do launch control. So you can see currently I don't have it set up. I think it normally just goes to 8,000 RPM, but a pretty normal setup, I believe, is probably around 42 to 45. So we'll just go ahead and do a quick demo there. We'll just do 42, see what that sounds like. And you can see now that is all set up. We'll go back to the live gauge readout. Boom. And all you would need to do is put the clutch fully in like that, put it in first gear like we're gonna launch, and then pretty cool, huh? Now, as you can see, there are so many features that the Acesssport offers, and I didn't even mention the off-the-shelf maps that you can pair with some of their products, like their exhaust system, intake, downpipe, and then you can have some of their maps. They're called OTS maps or off-the-shelf maps. I personally would much rather have a Pro Tune because that's going to be customized for your car exactly in the modifications that it has. I personally don't like the off-the-shelf maps, but obviously I'm still a huge fan of the Acesssport in general. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was gonna tell you that the Acesssport literally saved me from my engine pretty much exploding. So the first one is pretty quick. And I know this is normal, this is a normal feature that you can also see in the car, but one time I was taking photos of my friend Steven and I noticed that my coolant temperature on the Acesssport was reading 30 degrees above what it's actually supposed to. Of course, I could have just seen that, but as I saw the number rising very quickly here, because this is a really quick live data readout, I saw it was 30 degrees above where it was supposed to be, and that is because I got air introduced into the system after doing some stuff with the coolant, and I shut off my car before my car literally overheated. The temperature was rising extremely quickly, but I caught it just before. And then of course I got to do a flush and then get all the air out of the system. But that was one time where I was very happy that I had the Acesssport because I caught it quickly when the coolant temperature was rising before any major damage happened. So I'm really hoping today's video helped you guys out. Those are pretty much the main features of why I love the Acesssport. And this video idea was actually brought up by one of you guys on my Instagram. So huge shout out to Jacob Kapupsh. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys could see that. So I wanted to give credit where credit is due. He came up with the idea. He said how to work with a Cobb Accessport. So huge shout out to you. Something new that I want to start doing is getting you guys more involved in the content. So what I want you guys to start doing is commenting your best video ideas. And obviously if I pick your video idea, I'm going to give you a shout out and credit in that video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.